Is the behavior of one of your employees driving you crazy? Are you getting a lot of complaints from the other team members about this particular employee? As a leader, it is quite natural for you to have to deal with employees that are labeled difficult. Many leaders find dealing with such a situation very uncomfortable and might actually keep avoiding the situation till it becomes a big problem and you have to ask somebody to leave or that person actually leaves. So instead of letting it reach such a stage, what is it that you can do to ensure that the problem is resolved and the working environment remains conducive for high performance? Hi, my name is Sonali Sinha. I'm an executive coach and leadership facilitator, and today I want to talk about how to deal with difficult employees. It's important to do a bit of planning and figure out how to give constructive feedback, because after all, your intention is to solve the problem and ensure that everyone is working effectively. I'm going to share a very simple process that you can follow under such circumstances. So when you start finding yourself getting very irritated with the behavior of a particular employee, or people start complaining to you about this employee, the first step is actually not to react, but to start observing the employee's behavior. Observe how they are interacting with others, observe how they are delivering on their work, because it's very important for you to have full information before you take any kind of action. The next step is to actually evaluate whether the behavior of the employee is something that has been there for a while and is maybe a behavior trait, or is it something that has started happening only recently. Because if something has started happening only recently, it might be important to figure out what is happening in that employee's life and what might be causing that temporary problem. How you approach these two situations is going to be very different. So it's very important to evaluate and then plan what you're going to actually say to the employee, and also what are the consequences that you have in mind for this employee. Okay, the idea of the planning is that at least you have all your data points and all your messages put together and structured in a positive way, in a way that it is useful for that employee to get feedback and to improve on his behavior. Keep in mind that even though you have a plan of what you intend to say and what the consequences would be if the employee does not follow through, it's very important to approach this situation with an open mind and a willingness to listen to the other person's point of view as well. So take out time in a quiet place on a one-on-one basis to have this conversation with the employee. During this conversation, ask open-ended questions. Try to get into understanding why the person is behaving the way he or she is behaving. Try and see things from their perspective, because that is an essential input for you to have the complete picture about the situation. Once you've listened to the employee, try and summarize your understanding of the situation in a way that is positive, and then invite that employee to work with you to co-create a solution for this issue. In doing so, you will actually make the employee feel heard, understood, and also make them more accountable in terms of working out a solution that they own. And once you have a solution, also have a plan of following up after a certain period of time, so that there is a way for both of you to get back together and see whether things are working out or not. If you approach the situation in this manner, believe me, it will be a much more positive and constructive approach, not just for you but for that particular employee as well. And I am quite certain that you will be able to find a solution. But remember, sometimes the solution may not be very easy. It may be a certain way in which a person behaves and is not willing or even ready to recognize that it is a problem. So in such cases, if there is a lack of willingness on the front of the employee to even recognize that there is a problem, it is important for you to then see what are the next steps you will take. I hope this simple approach has given you some ideas as to how to approach such a situation in a constructive way and to feel comfortable about the whole process of dealing with the employee. You're doing this not just for the employee but for yourself as well. Do share what your experiences are. Thank you so much for listening.